Good morning, good morning. Fine, how are you doing?
We're ready for you.
Good morning. We're going to call. We're going to talk to them this morning. What sessions you have? Please turn them all outside of them at this time. To the stand and have pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Black and prayer by Councilmember.
I can give you the details as we go along. Second item is I just wanted to update you. We had a meeting with DOT on the truck route, the proposed bypass, and I think that Aaron Wadley did an excellent job in advocating for the city, and I was pleased at the response that we received from them. We have created a fire station working group. As you know, SPLOST passed by our citizens, and one of the major projects in our SPLOST category was the building of a new fire station. So we have a working group that's made up of Chief Pennington, Fire Marshal Gene Porter, several fire volunteers, Bo Cochran and Dan Pennington, our finance director, and our DPW manager. And that working group will follow the project all along. We have now secured all of the land, the property, and we are in the process of beginning to contemplate which method we're going to use and to move forward with that. And we'll be giving you regular updates as we go along. The The next item is, I just wanted to mention that the reason that there isn't movement at Andrews Park is because we continue to wait for the title. Jay Crowley is working with the county attorney, and he assures me that it's imminent, that we will be receiving title to the property, so there will be no issue in terms of the ownership, so that we can move forward.
Thank you.
There has been a series of community meetings, successful community meetings, and I think that will bode well for us. Lastly, although they're not here today to discuss it, we are meeting with Sean Wood and Blake Adcock, who's our supervisor of sanitation, about some potential changes to our recycling program. When we are ready to appear before you, well before implementation of a change, we will come before the council. But we are concerned with the safety of our employees, and we're concerned about making it as convenient as possible for our citizens. And I think that Blake and Sean have some exciting ideas that we will be sharing with you shortly. And lastly, I'll speak a little bit in code, but it's the time of year we need to begin to plan for next year's State of the City address. And as all of you will recognize, we need unsung heroes. You know why. And so I would hope that over the next month that you can think of people that are fittingly qualified for that prestigious award, so that we can move forward. And the State of the City, once again, is in the beginning of March. And I think that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that update and report. Contract item agreement, PIM 006616, Morgan City Madison Water and Sewer Facility. Sean, are you ready?
Morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
This is a DOT project to resurface SR 12-441 from the bypass, from SR 24, where the triangle is, down to the bypass. So it'll be coming all the way through town. Typically on these milling and resurfacing projects, the department's utility accommodation manual requires that we take all of our manholes and valves and come in and cut around them, lower them to below grade, place a plate on top of them, then come back at a later date when they have their milling done and raise them up after the paving is done, which would be really a strain on our department. And the DOT recognized this about 10 years ago, and they decided to put in a MOU and an agreement to where the contractor that gets the project handles this for us, and so we just reimburse the department for that. We have a little over 20 manholes and about 12 valves, I think, that need to be raised, lowered and then raised back to grade. And the total cost for this, split between three departments, water, sewer, and gas, would be $123,500.
The good news is that this project is badly needed. The bad news is that, as it's going to be disruptive. So I want to make sure, as soon as we can, that Sean and his staff work with Ken to make sure the information gets out to the general public to minimize disruption.
How long do you think? How long will it go?
They're letting it in December. The original let date was middle of next year, first of next year, and was going to be going to construction in the summer, where it wouldn't be as disruptive to school traffic. They have since moved up the let date to December of '25, which is going to put it right in that range of January, end of January, 1st of February for construction.
I'm going to yet again display my ignorance here, but can you change Highway 12 into street names that I might actually know where we're talking about?
It's where the split is at the triangle at Walker Circle and everything,
Mm-hmm.
that's where it's gonna begin at,
South Main down to the bypass?
yeah, down to the bypass through
Okay,
town.
so,
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
This is an estimate. I noticed there's some, they have a good record of coming close to the estimate, or could we get a nasty surprise?
We are hoping that, they're gonna come in below the estimate, but, again, it's through competitive bid through the GDOT's contract. The contract, the agreement states that if, what we end up paying will be exactly the quantities that are put out in the field, so. It could be a little less, could be a little more.
And I trust Manager Clem has 123.5 stashed away somewhere for this project.
We do.
All right,
Thank you, sir, appreciate that.
thank you.
And I believe you're on the next item.
Yes, sir.
John.
So would this, Mayor, go on our consent agenda for the next meeting? Is that, we need to
Yes.
approve the
Yeah,
contract?
Yeah,
Yes.
consent agenda.
Okay, for the next item is, our water withdrawal agreement with Georgia Power from Lake Oconee, water plant. In the past, we've just had an agreement to withdraw, I think, excuse me, I'm looking at my notes here. So we withdraw 156 million gallons in 2022, and the cost was $3,500. In 2023, we withdrew 132 million gallons. Well, 235 million gallons, and the cost for that was $5,016. In our new proposed agreement, they came back and wanted us to drop our structure down to 2 million gallons a day, which matches our EPD permit. Well, we're already on our max flow days, we're already about 1.9 million gallons a day. So we're not allowing any room for growth, or if we have a major water break or anything else, it would push us over that 2 million gallons. So under the new contract, the estimated total would be 20,511. That's for the storage and the withdrawal of 2 million gallons. We want to keep that 4 million gallons a day, which that contract structure would put us at $38,800 a year for 4 million gallons, and that ensures that we can withdraw 4 million gallons from the agreement with Georgia Power. Now, we're not permitted for that yet, but we're right at the point to where we need to be discussing growth and expanding our water plant to be able to treat 4 million gallons a day. So that's what we're looking at now.
So we've been negotiating this for some time, and what the bottom line is that we have to protect Madison's interests. And Madison's interest is to protect as much capacity as possible. Georgia Power has different interests. They have a whole bunch of cities, and they're trying to do their job. They're not bad people. We work well with them, but they have a different need than the city of Madison does. So we negotiated a contract, and it says that by the end of the contract, we have to have permitted for 4 million to continue the commitment for 4 million, and that is what our plan is. So we've had legal review of the document, and at this point, we're satisfied with going ahead with this document. Not today, obviously, but at the next meeting.
So have you had a conversation with Georgia Power, and they are in agreement with the 4
Well,
million?
they offered these options to us, the 2 million gallons a day versus the 4 million gallons a day, and we're staff's recommendation is to go with, to keep the 4 million gallons a day agreement in place, or the new agreement to be 4 million gallons a day.
Okay.
And Larry and I have discussed it extensively with Manager Clem, and we think this is the best option to go with.
Okay. Do our council having a problem with that?
I did have a question. It's very nice to have two members of Georgia Power here today for our meeting, so I appreciate your coming today. I did speak briefly with Ms. Munn a little earlier. What goes in, Sean, into getting the EPD to, right now we're limited, regardless of what Georgia Power says, we're limited to the 2 million a day that EPD says. If in the future we need it for growth, what do we need to do with EPD to get that increased?
I'm gonna ask Larry Stevens to come up and address that question. I do know that we need to show the growth and submit for the permit to expand our capacity.
I think it's pretty simple. We have to expand the plant to be able to use 4 million gallons and get a permit from the state.
Okay.
And so, and an expansion of our plant is in our present thinking.
And there's a lot of verbiage in here regarding changing the infrastructure that now allows us to draw stuff out. We need permission from Georgia Power and all that kind of stuff that was beyond me, but it looked like you can't just throw in a bigger pipe and
Correct.
tell them later. I
Right.
see nodding heads over there, yeah.
Yeah, there would be changing infrastructure all the way from the intake point to the plant.
Well, it certainly makes sense to me to protect the 4 million capacity, future capacity that we have. And whether we have to pay the storage fees for that, I know that deprives Georgia Power of the ability to use that water for generation or to reserve it so it won't be used for power generation. We have to go to the 4 for sure.
So we're just gonna not move forward then, from our council, move forward with the Georgia Power.
Yeah, one last point, if I could, Mayor. There was a mention of drought in here, and I just wanted to, it's not related to Georgia Power, but it's in those situations when the water at our city reservoir becomes real important.
Exactly.
When Georgia Power has to cut back our requirement because of drought conditions, that's when that water in our reservoir that we talked about a few meetings ago becomes critical.
Yes, sir. And you'd be, I just shared a couple of weeks ago that we did do the testing at our reservoir, and we have clean water at our reservoir, no contaminants there whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That was a real good report on the quality of the water in that reservoir, should we need it like we did 6 or 8 years ago, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
And we do have a representative from Georgia Power. Is there anything that you would like to say to us? And you and Lori, I mean, you don't have to, I'm just saying that.
I think we discussed all the issues, as far as the EPD surface water withdrawal permit. We just have to send it to them and show them need, and then they come to us and ask us if we are able to provide that water. So because you have the contract, we'll be able to say yes, that we'll be able to provide that water. So that's part of their, what they'll ask you for that.
Thank you so much.
And also, another thing I'm gonna say.
Can you come to the table?
Could you mind
come to the
coming up and
table?
using that mic, Ms. Munn? I'd appreciate it.
One other thing I want to say about drought is we want to make sure that we stay in contact with you during that time and make sure we know the the correct elevations of your intake, so we can make sure we will not pull the lake down lower than your intake, but we have to make sure that we know what it is. And so in 2016, I think we had some problems getting some answers on what your actual intakes were at that time, the elevations. And so we just wanted to make sure that we know if we do enter another drought, that please be in contact with us, and when we can make sure that we can hold the lake level at Oconee high for your intake, especially you're paying for the storage. So that's the point of it. That is guaranteed for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
You know, I think, Mayor, you and Rick are probably the only two at the table that would have seen these contracts before. I looked at this and I thought, I wonder why I've never seen this before. Well, it's been over at least 10 years, and I don't know, McCary might have been around, yeah.
I was around.
Also, the last contract was signed in 1997.
Wow.
So this is the
Wow.
first contract since then.
Pretty
Wow.
much, yeah. Thank you so much. Transportation plan update, Molly? Monica? Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, as you all know, you have a public hearing on October 20th. We just wanted to come before you this morning and give you an update about what we've done in preparation for that meeting. We did go through with a fine-tooth comb, make a number of edits, most of them grammatical, typo, misspelling, maybe a little word choice difference. The three things that we did do and ensure that there were no longer anything remaining related to First Academy or Old Post, nothing related to downtown parking, and nothing related to the specifics of the grid system, expansion of that grid system. So no connection points, no grid system outside of what exists appearing on any of those maps. So those are the big three things that we heard concerns about. I will say Miss Elizabeth Bell was kind enough to reach out earlier in the week and let us know that we had failed to update the date on that new edition. So we went ahead and made sure that the new date, September 16th, was reflected on that and updated that within the hour. Otherwise, happy to answer any questions you might have. We will go into a little bit more detail at the public hearing and kind of go through some of those changes. But they are all outlined there on the website so that if anyone's looking at the previous version and this version, they can see the exact changes, the pages, the subsections, all of that.
Monica?
Yes, sir. As we get ready to go to comp planning in December, we are preparing all the preliminary pieces that feed into that, i.e. the transportation plan, next up the green print plan, urban redevelopment plan, and any economic development and housing assessment that y'all decide to go with. So our first piece that we're getting started on is the green print contract. As you remember, the Conservancy, Madison Morgan Conservancy, prepared the first countywide green print for Morgan County and the cities in 2003. In 2008, they prepared the update, the green print addendum. So they have been working with the city and county to make sure that we're integrating conservation principles into our comp plan since 2004. We asked them again if they would come back, just like we asked the RC to participate in our data structure. And so you'll see a proposal from them to prepare our green print yet again. And one of the things we've asked for that's new this time is to assess how well we've done on our previous objectives. And so there will be an assessment from one to the other, how we have done since 2009. And I'm expecting a sterling review. So hopefully it'll be very good. This is inside of our budgeted comp plan that we reviewed. So if you went over the budget and you saw the money that was allotted for this year and for next year, the breakdown was to split the comp plan between 2 years to make it more affordable for our budget during our budget strain. And there was set aside for 2 work items in each of the prep items for each of the years. So this one is for 2025-26, that's right. But we also were not able to work the amount that the Conservancy gave us in terms of a proposal into our budget. So we asked them to reevaluate it, and Molly and I are going to take some of our time from other things and devote that to bring the contract within line. So what you're looking at before you is $20,000 as opposed to $25,000, and Molly and I are going to have to redirect some of our time to pull the budget down so it stays within budget. Happy to answer any questions, and if I missed anything, I hope Molly will speak up. Most of the mapping will be is already done, and y'all came and saw some of that at the open house, but we paid for that under just consulting services.
If I could get back to the transportation plan, what, Molly, what do you see as the process going forward here? We've got the meeting on the 20th. What do you envision at that meeting, and then going forward, what dates are we looking at? What is your process for getting this finally approved?
That would be completely up to you. So this is well outside of the timeline that we had initially established. So it was my assumption that holding this public hearing 6 months out from the previous iteration, you all had wanted to adopt it at that point. But if that's not the case and you want to host another public hearing, completely up to you.
So Eric, to add, there's no state compliance requirements we're trying to meet. There's no even requirement for a public hearing. So when we finish the product, we were done. So it's really up to y'all, and we're on y'all's time frame and have been. So we don't have any deadlines we're trying to meet. We just need it done before the comp plan, hopefully. Because otherwise, the old plan is still the guiding instrument we're still using from 2007.
So really, there's no new information, and if we have this public hearing, there's no new information that we're gonna receive, I don't get through this.
No, sir, we made the 3 changes y'all asked for back, whenever that was.
Yeah, I
March.
can't remember the exact date, but you had requested the changes, we made the changes. There were a few things that we failed to pull out of the plan that were relevant to those changes, and so that's something that we have now, we believe, have gone through with a fine-tooth comb and found any of those sort of remaining elements, again, related to First Academy Old Post, downtown parking, and the grid system, or expansion of the grid system. And so we believe those have all been removed. And it's just, if there's something else you want to see changed in it, happy to do that. If you want to host additional public hearings outside of October 20th, that's fine as well. To Monica's point, there are no internal or external compliance requirements for the plan adoption.
One other thing just to note, in case you do see 2 or 3 things either added or changed, just to be careful and make sure that we're fully exposing those. Since March, or whenever the final time, May, there have been some things that have changed, that we've gotten some awards or stuff like that. So anything that has changed because of a time lapse, that has been incorporated. But that shouldn't be new information. It's just because of the time lag, we've incorporated those.
And that was itemized as well on the webpage, all of the changes that are itemized.
You know, it would appear that our zoning ordinance requires planning and zoning to look at this. Are you aware of that?
Happy to do that. I'm not aware of that being a
Yeah,
requirement.
because when it comes to timelines, I have a citation that looks like it's pretty required that planning and zoning look at it before it even comes to the council for an improvement.
Could you cite the section?
Yeah, it's 1110.3 parentheses 2. So that's under the planning commission functions and duties. It even cites as examples, major thoroughfare plan, urban redevelopment plan.
Well, we actually have another deadline coming up, and we can get that in at the next application deadline is next Monday. So if you'd like for us to go ahead and get it on that agenda, you'd still host your public hearing on October 20th, but that would put that in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission in November and in front of you for final decision in December.
Normally, the way we've incorporated that is by having a member of the planning commission actually participate in the process, which we did, but
Cindy Jones, yeah.
happy to take it through a formal process if that's necessary.
Yeah, well, and I believe I hate to speak for our city attorney who's not here, but I believe he is in concurrence with that requirement.
It's fine. Again,
Yeah.
it's not on our timeline.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
So let me ask this real quick. If you do get it on the agenda for planning and zoning, and then we have our public hearing, and perhaps there's something that pops up that say, yeah, we can tweak, if we need to tweak something in the plan, can that tweak then go, because it hasn't gone to the planning and zoning yet, can you tweak anything before it shows up?
So much like recommendations that are made from them, if you host, and we absolutely have the time to place it in the next agenda, so that's not a problem. If you host the public hearing on October 20th and here's something that you want changed, you would need to make sure that you as a board itemize what that is, give us an instruction as to the change you want to make. We would bring that So the document wouldn't change between what we post for the Planning Commission and what they see at their November meeting. But what would happen is staff would say, here's the plan that was provided. On October 20th, a public hearing was
I see.
heard, and mayor and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
council recommended this change. If you would like to recommend that be a part of your recommendation, please include
Perfect.
that in the hearing minutes.
Thank you.
And Betsy, the reason that works is because they're a recommending body, not a deciding body.
Right,
Mm.
yep.
So the meeting on the 20th, Mayor, is the equivalent of like a council work session, where town hall meeting, work session, no vote, is that the?
I think it was more like a town hall. You were hoping to get public comment. And so I believe it's 5:30 on October 20th, Deborah, is that correct?
I think it
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is 5:30, yeah.
That's is that 2 weeks from Monday?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Bobby. So, Bonnie, do we need a motion to approve this green print?
Not at a work session,
No,
and
just put it
y'all
on the
may have some
consent
questions
agenda.
about that.
Are there any questions for Monica concerning the green print?
I did have one question, did not, let's see, where was it? Yeah, under the contractor, we're talking about the Conservancy proposed contract.
Mhm.
Their responsibilities would be to document conditions of the 31 green space opportunities and the 38 historic landmarks. Were not the work on the historic landmarks already done by the HPC?
So what they mean by that is they're talking about documenting any progress that's been made or any things that have been lost since the way they wrote it the first time.
Yeah,
So
but
there-
hasn't there been much more recent work by HPC on the landmarks? Or am I-
Yes, and they will document that. So all they're gonna do is document the progress we've made in protecting said resources. And the answer right now is, that it finally went to HPC, and HPC, took it under consideration and had reports written. There's still no progress. None of those are protected, except by the historic district.
It doesn't strike you at all as being redundant?
It strikes me as being thorough. If they're reviewing all of our conservation resources, and they were all listed in the itemized work plan, for them to skip the landmarks things, seems like they would have only done half of the review of the previous green print. So I concur with you. I don't think they have a lot to probably do in that section, because they're gonna basically say, not a lot of progress. But I do think that we are expecting them to comment on every resource that was listed in the prior green print. To skip historic resources would be a disservice to those.
Monica, is the 20,000 that we're talking about, is that coming out of the 100,000 that was for the comp plan?
Yes, sir, because it's a comp plan element. We're doing housing in-house, and we did transportation out of house before we started that comp plan budget. And what's the other one with that's in? Oh, and the urban redevelopment money's also coming out of that. So
Do
there,
we-
all those are components of the comp plan.
But do we know, I mean, I was under the impression we were gonna hire a contractor to do the bulk of that report. Do we have any idea what that dollar requirement might be?
Yes, we do. We have a meeting at 1 o'clock to review the RFPs that have come in.
To give you a specific number because.
We don't know which one we're going through, and
Yeah, we got a 400,000 difference in some of those proposals. So,
Ouch.
yeah.
yeah. And that's, here's a kicker. That's an ouch with us preparing the comp plan components, some of them, and then hiring some of the components cheaper because they're being done locally. If we were doing the full enchilada, you would see that number go way up. They're not collecting housing data. They're not collecting green space data. We're doing a lot of those in-house or by small contracts. So it would be a bigger ouchie and require a bigger Band-Aid. So we're trying to stay in budget by pulling things out. One of the other things we asked the contractors to do was go to the, I'm sorry, Betsy, I keep looking at Eric. We also asked our contractors in the RFP to specifically use the RC because, as y'all know, we pay them a certain amount per year, and their services would reduce the cost of that. One of them gave us a real good plan of how about they work with the RC, and one of them, it's a little vague. So we've still got some details to sort out on trying to cost engineer the comp plan in every way we can. I know that this seems like a big number. I'm just gonna remind y'all that, or for the comp plan specifically, but that's because we were about 8 months behind. Some of that was kicking the can, but some of that was because we did all the work in-house last time. And we had more resources to do that with, and I think the comp plan ended up costing us about $25,000 for public engagement, but City of Madison did the whole expense in-house last time. This time, we're going back to the 2004 model, where we're doing it jointly, and we're paying for it per capita. And so the way we're keeping it cheaper for the city is to pull out small pieces where we can that the contractor doesn't have to do.
But wouldn't, you got $100,000 in the budget for the comp plan?
I understand that is the case.
Is it? That's the case. The biggest bulk of that expense is gonna be to the contractor who's basically writing the report, right?
That's correct.
Isn't there not a logic into getting a firmer number of what that cost would be to see whether we could afford $20,000 to the Conservancy or any other smaller component?
Yeah, so.
Instead of doing the 20,000 first and then maybe not having enough for what the main contractor.
So we pay per capita. So we have a top number per capita that we're gonna pay for the comp plan number. And we're confident that we can pull our number for the comp plan in. If not, we delete the other small study that we've set aside another 20,000 for. But we should very easily be within our per capita number. The city of Madison only represents a quarter of the county's population, so we will only be paying for a quarter of the full expense, and we are confident we can stay within our 100,000.
The 400,000 bid notwithstanding.
Yeah, there's gonna have to be either some, I'm trying not to get ahead of the judgment of the RFP, but either one of our contractors is going to have to give us a lot more detail about what they're performing, or we've got another contractor that's gonna have to do some cost engineering. But neither one of them have met the mark, in my opinion, yet. But we'll be having that discussion and reporting to you later on that. Again, we've opted to go with the 2004 model, and the 2004 model is going to necessarily be on the higher end because we're not doing it in-house. Not that we have time or staff to do it in-house right now. Worst case scenario, Eric, we'll have to pull another element or piece out of the comp plan, and Molly and I will redirect some energy in-house and do it in-house to pull it down.
Yeah, I think I was on the advisory council, was it 10 years ago?
You sat on the 2009 update, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I think Rick sat on the 2004 and original plan, and I think Fred's had to be on both of them. And Carrie's guiding our URP component. We're keeping the URP component. We're not paying the bulk of it. We're keeping it down
It's
by doing it
in-house.
in-house.
And Jim's doing something, I think, isn't he?
Jim has been asked to be our new sacrificial lamb. He is you from last time, so he is going to be doing
Good.
the comp plan. We also thought that was a good opportunity for him to familiarize himself with every aspect of the city.
You didn't use that term when you pitched it to him in the first place, did you?
No, sir, that's not how you get people to volunteer.
Good plan.
But it is good exposure for him, and he does seem eager to participate in the process.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And we appreciate, Monica, for what you and Molly do, because you always keep the city at heart, you know.
Well, we're
We
trying
thank you so much.
to please the public, but also please John by keeping it in budget.
Good, appreciate that so much. Are there any more questions for Monty or Monica? If not, we will move forward on our work session.
And I'll just sit up here if y'all have any questions.
Okay.
Carrie's up next, but
Next,
I'll
Carrie.
fill in.
Before we leave that, if y'all are comfortable, and Eric may want to discuss that because he had a lot of interesting questions for that one. But if you're comfortable, we'd love to see that on the consent agenda just to save time. But if not, we're happy to discuss it.
I think a lot of questions has been answered this morning, so by council, but not to go ahead, put it on the consent agenda.
Yeah, I would prefer to have it dealt with separately.
Good. In that instance, then I'll ask Christine to attend.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Giving everyone an update on our urban redevelopment plan. Our project advisory groups met on September 2nd and September 16th to assess the existing conditions of and development preliminary conditions. Thank you again to the individuals that are serving on the PAGs for dedicating your invaluable time to this effort. I would like to invite Council Members Blatton, and I did want Councilman Malinowski to say a few words about their experience on the PAGs, if they would like to do so. Would you like to tell us how it went when you was there, Rick, and just give us a couple of things?
Yeah, it went good, at each of the lunch meetings and the public, the public meeting, it was on a Saturday, and it was not super well attended, but there was a lot of good conversation that went on, and a lot of good conversation in detail. Molly and Monica, and staff did a great job at the luncheons and to draw out a lot of thinking and information from us.
Thank you. It was really good. We discussed a lot of things in the meetings at lunch, just housing in the different areas, and we had the people on the boards were really, they had a lot of information to give, so it was really good. The neighborhood forums will be held for both URAs on October 18th, which is the day that my daughter gets married, so I won't be there. And focus on feedback on the preliminary recommendations developed by the project advisory groups. Information about the times and locations have been and will continue to be posted in the Morgan County Citizen, on-site and online at madisonga.com/URA and our social media accounts in the coming weeks. Members of Mayor and Council and the project advisory groups have been challenged to personally invite at least 5 people to the neighborhood forums. Please help us spread the word. We hope some people come out, more people come out to the forums and give us information about what they would like to see and what they would like to have go on in our communities. Planning staff will complete drafts of the existing conditions assessment and preliminary recommendations report in the coming weeks for your and the community's viewing ahead of the final project advisory group meeting, which will be October 28th. Thank you. Are there any questions about the project advisory groups or the forums that we're having?
What was October 28th again? I'm sorry.
18,
18, I think.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 18.
The 18th is when we'll meet again in the neighborhoods.
And then October 28th is the
Oh, yeah.
final project advisory
Yes.
group meeting.
Is that 9 o'clock?
What time is that one, Margaret?
So it depends on the area.
We flip-flop
Yeah,
back and
so
forth.
South Madison is now in the morning, and there are small group discussions starting at 9, 10, and 11. And then East Madison, centered around Green Meadows, is in the afternoon this time, and that is at the library, Morgan County Library, and those conversations are at 1, 2, and 3 in the
So it's
afternoon.
a switch from the timing of
Yeah, we
last
just
time.
wanted to, last time, East Madison, the Green Meadows area was in the morning, so we're having that in the afternoon,
switch
and
it
vice
up.
versa. And the South Madison URA around the Beacon Heights is going to be held again at the Church of Latter-day Saints, same location as last time. But again, those are drop-in, but those small group discussions start on the hour, every hour. And so we do encourage people to drop
come.
in at the start of each hour if they would like to participate. They're welcome to jump in at any time, but they might miss some of the earlier conversation that's happening.
It's been very interesting as well. And also, excuse me, Monica, the church over in Green Meadows, I cannot think of the name of it that we was talking about getting them involved with the area because there's so many kids are there. They actually came out to Gilbert Park the other day and served hot dogs and had games and played with the kids and had Bible study. And it was a lot of kids to come out, so.
That's good.
Yeah, we're making moves in different areas with kids, and the things that we're doing actually matters.
Could you kind of characterize the feeling of the citizens that did show up at those meetings? Does it range from concern to an opportunity? I mean, how are most people looking at this?
Well, it's both, but the people that came to the 12 o'clock meetings when we had lunch and talked about each neighborhood, we actually sort of picked those people ourselves. So one young lady, which is named Manette Lee, I don't know her married name right now, I can't think of it, Thompson, Manette Lee Thompson used to live, she grew up in Green Meadows. And she now lives in Gresham-Ville, and I wanted her to come back and talk about some things that she would like to see in her neighborhood that she didn't see when she was a little girl. And her input has been amazing. Leon Peters is also there. He talked about housing from a different standpoint. So you gotta think, some people come into the neighborhood and then some people live in the neighborhood. I didn't grow up in the neighborhood, but I didn't live in it, but I grew up in it. My godmother was there. So there's some things that I would like to see as well. So it's been a really big experience and different mindsets about what should go in different places. At one time in Green Meadows, we talked about a skateboard park, and it's been years ago, Monica. I don't even know how long. And I literally said, no. No. Think about the culture in that area. Monica laughed back then. It was like, Kara. I was like, no, not skateboarding. Basketball, maybe. Maybe some soccer, but not skateboard park.
Well, the Green Space Board did seriously discuss that, because
Yeah.
there was a group of citizens who would like it, but they didn't want it in that park. They
No.
wanted it moved to another park that was much more prominent
Yes.
and in a prominent visible area, and it was discarded for risk and discarded because it was really directed at one population.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I'm very encouraged about this time with the URAs is that we do seem to be getting voices from inside the neighborhood. And one of the things we heard, Eric, was people don't want to be told from outsiders what they
What to do.
need. They want to have it grassroots generated and not be dictated to by other portions of the population. So we're excited that we've been able to pull in
It's been really good.
a representative group from the areas, and that's exciting.
Don't tell us what to do without us.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yes.
that was written on the
For us, about us, without us. That's
That's
Sonia
it.
Hopes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say that while there are concerns, I think the thing that's been really refreshing and nice about this process is there's actually just been a lot of excitement.
A
People
lot.
are ready for a spotlight to be placed on their communities, on, you know, their smaller areas within the community, and are ready for that investment and ready for some change. And
Yes.
so it has been really encouraging to hear.
It has.
And I'll take one more second. I want to brag on Molly. These are meetings that are above and beyond our normal work every day. And I think that we are seeing a cost savings of about $35,000 out of the comp plan because of the meetings that we're doing. These are meetings that you would pay to have people come and coordinate and travel, and hopefully we're still getting a really good quality product. I believe that we're getting really good participation, but this is one of our cost savings methods for the comp plan, is to pull those pieces out. You'll notice that we didn't pull the transportation piece out. It was done pre the comp plan, but it was $75,000, and by the time we get all the edits in and they make the final changes, we're probably gonna be looking at about $85,000 we've expended on the transportation plan alone, so.
And I
Thank
do want to
you.
commend the planning department for their outreach on whether it's the transportation plan or the new URA expansion. I think it's really, it's encouraging when I see the amount of public meetings, and
A lot.
it's really, so you're doing a good job on that, really.
Thank you. It's a lot. Even with Andrews Park, when you guys were out in Andrews Park, thank you.
We appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much, Monty Moss. Appreciate that. Thanks for that report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Discuss council assignments of liaison to city committees. Councilmember Joyce?
Yeah, I brought this up mainly because it's a little early. Normally, I think we do this probably after the beginning of the year when the newly elected council members come in, but you're stuck with the same old characters evidently. So I thought we'd bring it up now. Unfortunately, the person that would most benefit from this discussion is absent today, so I'm not even sure there's much point in going forward. But we haven't talked about commissions and liaisons in quite a while, and I think it's probably time to do that. But mainly, I wanted to incorporate Jim into giving one he wanted, and he's not here, so I'm not sure there's any real point in proceeding, to be honest with you.
I agree.
Maybe on the next
Work session?
work session, or if there's, I don't know, do you want to do it at the next call meeting when he's here, or is that, do you want to save it for a work session? There's no real hurry on it.
We can even do it at the retreat.
Well, I'm sure he'll be here at our next work session, which is in
We'll
November.
just delay it for a month, because he was the one the most benefiting. I don't know whether other people want to do a change, or I know you, Betsy, you've been HPC now for, was it 3 years now?
Two
Yeah,
or
yeah.
three, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And the question is, are they enjoying what they do? I mean, she's HPC, I think you go to, planning and zoning, I guess. I know you represent DDA, you know, so is everybody confident with what they're doing, you know?
Yeah,
I
and then
mean,
along with that, Mayor, too, I think it's beneficial for our system to have some rotation going on, so that we can all learn about maybe a different aspect of city process that we're not really that familiar with. So it's a benefit to kind of moving around a little bit, but,
And sometimes, and some may just attend all the commission meetings. Some go to every HPC, some goes to every planning and zoning, and some goes to every DDA, you know, so
yeah.
we're really there. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no housing rep, I don't believe. That's an important one to have. I don't think Public Arts has a liaison. Anyways, I would like to incorporate Jim into getting him to pick one that he'd be interested in. If you wanted one of mine, I would be more than glad to give up that for him,
So
but
how many
him
do
not
you
being
have?
here, pointless.
How many do you have?
11? No.
So can I add that there are not enough of y'all to cover all the boards, and there
Right.
never has been? So usually it's, a council member comes on, they've got a specific interest, like Joe Deletto started off because he was very concerned about HPC. And he started with them, and then he moved over to planning and zoning. Carrie started with housing, and she's moved over to DDA. Rick has been the stalwart person for corridor. Eric started with HPC, moved over to cemetery. Betsy started with HPC, I think straight out of the bat.
No.
Did I miss one?
No, I guess that's right.
Chris Hodges was
Yeah.
the last rep for public arts. So y'all can take on two if you'd like.
Well, I
But
have,
sometimes it's whichever board you feel like needs guidance or needs more watching or, more liaison support. And I'll tell Phil you're ready to ditch him and move on. I'm just warning you. No, I'm teasing you, Eric. So if y'all want to shuffle, that's fine. Just remember that it's not a one-to-one correlation. There are
yeah.
8 public service boards and 6 of y'all.
I do have 2, but the cemetery one came to me through a method I have absolutely no idea how that happened. I know I didn't raise my hand, but I saw my name on the agenda as the liaison. I think that's something you did?
No, I said you must have missed a meeting and got volunteered. You got volunteered.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll never miss another meeting. But
Okay.
if we can put that on the next work session agenda, and we'll just, till Jim is here. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. There's no further discussion. This work session is adjourned, and thank you so much for attending.
Is there I would like to call for an executive session.
Our attorney is not here, containing what?
Personnel.
I would much rather wait until our attorney is here, because he had planned to go into executive session this morning.
Okay,
But due to death of his family.
I still make the motion to go into executive session. I would need a second and a majority. If not, that's fine.
And you say it's for personnel?
Yeah.
Second.
And actually, I can't stay. I gotta go to court this morning, once I leave here. So, if you guys wanna go into executive session, you can.
I'm fine with that.
Rick, are you okay with it?
I was gonna vote when he called for a vote, but
Okay.
it seems to me, unless there's some
I mean,
urgency that I'm
that's
not
what I
aware
was-
of, that it would probably be better to have our attorney involved, but I don't know what.
Is it urgent?
Well, it would certainly be better to have the attorney and the mayor involved. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
Well,
We
like
don't
I
need
said,
it
I gotta
then.
go to court. I'm late now, so. This meeting is adjourned.